first. So I just want to be clear about that. And that matters whether it's cloud or whether it's on-premises, either way. Now another soapbox I have is that monitoring is its own discipline. And the way I explain this is if you think about information security, let's say 10 years ago. 10 years ago, there were very few people who said, I'm an information security engineer, that's what I... No! You're a network guy who likes to do security. You're a server person who enjoys security. That's it. You're not an InfoSec professional. Nowadays, though, when you think about it nowadays, you have no company would imagine not having information security professionals, right? You couldn't dream of having it. And you don't have people who do, one person who does network security, and another person who does server security, and another person who does storage. No! The information security professional does all of it. Today, now, we need to think about monitoring as its own discipline within IT. That we don't have the network people doing network monitoring and the server people doing server monitoring, the application team monitoring their own application, and the cloud people having their cloud no. You have to have monitoring engineers who understand everything about what it is to do monitoring. So this is how we need to think about things in general, because everything is coming together into one place. Now, if you went to, talking about cloud, if you were lucky enough to go to DockerCon, where Docker showed off their stuff the very first year, which is a long time ago, 2014, ages ago. In 2014, at the very first DockerCon in San Francisco, the very first speaker was a couple of engineers from Docker, and they said, we have something really exciting. We have this thing called containers. They're amazing, they're really cool. Let me talk about what they do, but don't use it in production. We're not ready for you to use it in production. The second speaker who got up on stage were 3 engineers from Google. And they said, here's how we're using containers in production. That's how fast things move, because in web development, in cloud development, things are moving very fast. At Solarwinds, our web development team reports into the structure, the management structure of, not IT, marketing. The web development team completely, 100% reports to our marketing department. They don't know the IT, I mean, they know the IT people, they're friends with the IT people and all that stuff, that's fine. But they don't really report to them. They don't do anything with the IT department. So that means that they're working on a very different set of needs. They're looking for any advantage, anything that's going to get them ahead. And if they can do it fast, even better. So cloud development is happening right now. And it's happening very fast. It's happening so fast that the first speaker at DockerCon said, don't use it in production. The second speaker said, here's how we're doing it in production. That's what's happening. So we need to be aware of that. Now, this is why SolarWinds does have a cloud portfolio. If you've heard of SolarWinds, you may be thinking about on-premises monitoring, because that's what we're known for. We've been doing it for 15 years. Networks, routers, servers, application, database, storage, we're doing all this. But we also have an entire cloud portfolio, which is based around the products that you see up here. But it's not just a bunch of acquisitions, it's a bunch of integrations. That each of these products speak to each other, and there are more integrations coming. Because we know that cloud development, pure cloud development is happening, and we need to provide cloud-native applications to allow you to do the monitoring that you need to do within the cloud. We know this. So one of the things that's driving the move to the cloud is really management. As part of my job as head geek, I get to go to a lot of these kinds of shows, Cisco Live and VMware, and of course ByNet. And I get to come here, and I get to talk to a lot of different people. A lot of people are IT professionals, boots on the ground, this is what we do. But I also get to talk to managers, and they are giddy. They are so excited about cloud. Why? Because for years, the IT department has said, we can't do this for you, we're out of rack space. We can't help you with this because we don't have port density on our core switch. We'd love to do this, but it's going to break our budget. We can't scale that big. And all of a sudden, there's this magic thing called elastic compute in cloud. And for a credit card, this manager can get a couple of cousins who are good with IT, and they can start to build this stuff very fast. And they're so excited. They're rushing to the cloud. So how much are they rushing? Cisco, for the last 5 years, has done a survey. They call it their Global Cloud Index. And the last one that they did, which was about 3 months ago, here's some of the numbers. By the year 2020 is not the beginning of a dystopian novel about how the world is coming to an end. By the year 2020, I'll still be driving the same car I drive today, and it will still be under warranty. This makes me very sad as an old person. However, by the year 2020, 92% of all the compute workloads that are happening are going to be performed in a cloud environment. Now, when I say cloud, I could mean private cloud. 32% are going to be private in your company cloud. But 68% are public cloud. Overall data center workloads are going to double. That's the on-premises workloads. The data center workloads are going to double, but your cloud workloads are going to triple from the levels that they were at in 2015. Now, what does this mean? This means that people who are investors, people who are venture capitalists, they see where the money is. All of the work, all of the innovation, all of the excitement, all of the attention is going to go into cloud. And that's fantastic. That helps a lot of things. But Solarwinds did our own survey. We've been doing it for 4 years. The IT Trends Survey looks at people who are real IT professionals and what they're doing. This year's IT Trends Survey looked at 800 companies, and we asked them questions about their cloud moves. And we see that 95% have moved something to the cloud. Okay, it's moved something to the cloud. Fantastic. Of those, 1% are pure cloud. Wait, 1% are pure cloud? What are the rest of them? The rest of them are hybrid. The rest of them have some things that are on premises and some things that are in the cloud. In fact, this year we found out that of the companies that moved things to the cloud, 10% had moved it back because they found that it wasn't working well in the cloud. Okay. 60% have a quarter or less of their environment in the cloud. What that means is that the rest of that environment is on premises. Okay? So it's on premises. Great. What does that mean? That means that you have hybrid IT. Hybrid IT is when you have not all one thing and not all the other. You have this horrible, awful, painful mix of both. And I say horrible, awful, painful. Understand, in the natural world, hybrids only occur in the plant world and one kind of fly. That's it. That's the only kind of natural occurring hybrid, and now also IT. Okay? But it's not a good thing. It doesn't work well. What does hybrid IT look like? Well, hybrid IT looks a lot like regular IT. That means that Mary or Joe, in the old days, Mary or Joe got a call. The file server was down. The inventory system was down. They had to fix it, right? Today, they still get the call, except the file system is Dropbox, and the inventory system is actually on premises, but it's using microservice calls to Amazon, and it also has the database in an Azure instance in the cloud. So they still have to deal with it, but the problem is that they have to deal with it and everything in between. I'm not just supporting my inventory system, I have to support the whole internet. Because now if the internet is down, nothing is working. This is not, nobody wants this. Nobody ever asked for this. At no time did any IT professional walk down to their manager's office and say, you know what would be great? What would be great is we put part of our stuff out across the internet and part of our stuff here, we have to support the whole thing. Wouldn't that be awesome, boss? Nobody said that. What the real story is here is that it's not a story. This is the same thing we knew from the IT Trends survey from last year and from the year before. This is the way things are going. This hybrid IT move is going to be with us for a while. Okay? Now, you might be saying, that's wonderful, but I know I'm not hybrid IT. I'm okay. So let's just play a little game. You might be hybrid IT if you bought Office 365, but you still have to have an on-premises Exchange box to handle your conference rooms. You might. You might be hybrid IT if your boss freaked out when he saw the Amazon bill, and so he decided that your next instance of SQL is going to be on Azure. You might be hybrid IT if Salesforce breaks down when you reboot your Active Directory server. You might be hybrid IT when employees go home when the WAN goes down. You might be hybrid IT when you spend more time trying to figure out where my application is than actually fixing the application. You might be hybrid IT. So at this point, you may be sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I'm hybrid IT. What am I going to do? Bad news, there is no cure for hybrid IT. However, you should expect that you can live a long, productive life as long as you make a few changes and keep an eye on your processes. You can make it. It's going to be okay. One of the changes that you have to do is understand the 3 secrets to success in IT. If you've been in IT for more than 15 minutes, you should know the 3 things that you need to be successful. The first thing is accountability. We get that without even asking. Our boss gives it to us on the first day we walk in. The other thing is responsibility. We also get that right after we find the bathroom. We're responsible for the entire environment, whether we want it to or not. The third thing, and this is the hard one, is authority. You can't be successful in IT if you don't have the authority to fix the things that are broken, right? Here's the problem. You're now in charge of the internet. If you're using Salesforce, you can't fix Salesforce. You can call and make nasty phone calls, but you can't fix Salesforce. And you're responsible for the entire internet that goes between your office and Salesforce, everything. So unless you have a personal connection to Time Warner Cable, and Toledo Sonera and AT&T, you don't have authority for anything. You're out of authority. But there's one thing you can have that's almost as good as authority, and that's visibility. If you can see what's broken, I mean really see what's broken, and you know where it's broken and why, then you can start to do the things that you need to do to get it fixed. So back in the old days, this is visibility. I have my demarcation point, I have this magic cloud, and then I have the service across the cloud. Does anyone know why it's called cloud? Does anyone remember why we started calling it cloud? Does anyone know what a TAMO cloud is? T-A-M-O? T-A-M-O. Used to write the cloud and put T-A-M-O because it stood for then a miracle occurred. Really, true story. That's why we use clouds and not boxes or circles or triangles or whatever. That's why we put a cloud there. It's called a TAMO cloud. This is visibility. This is the same picture as that. Same services. But here, I can see my Time Warner environment. I can see my Toledo Sonera environment. I can see everything all the way up to Salesforce. I can see all of it. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's just look at that part. So here what I'm looking at, and I know it's a little blurry, I can see the names of all the routers. Even better visibility would be if I can see the phone number to call for that device. I can see who owns the name of it. Now I get on the phone and I call that phone number and say, hey, router blah, 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 interface number 5 is having a problem. Could you do something about that? Visibility is almost as powerful as authority. If you haven't, by the way, the first time you do this, they're going to tell you you hacked them. You didn't. But they will freak out. Just know that. The next problem to solve is that a lot of people will tell me, I have cloud, I have the cloud monitoring tools, I should be just fine. Well, there's 2 problems with that. One, does everyone remember what happened not in October 16th with the Amazon and the storage, right? The R3? Yeah, their tools said they were fine. It was all good. So like any vendor, trust but verify. However, the other part about it is that if I have some stuff in Amazon and some stuff on-prem and some stuff in Azure, you have what's called swivel chair integration. Swivel chair integration is where you have a bunch of screens and you have to keep going like this to see where everything is. That doesn't help. You really do need to have a single screen where you can see what's happening on the hardware, what's happening on the storage, what's happening on-premises, what's happening in the cloud. You want to be able to see all of it. Now, I hate the term single pane of glass. Every time I go to a convention or a show, you hear everyone saying it. It's a pain. But it's the only way to explain what I'm talking about, which is you want to have one place where you can see it. That doesn't mean one tool. Remember, I'm not here to sell you anything. But you want one place where you can see all the information. That's the important part. Data, just pure data, also wants a single view. Now, I grabbed a bunch of different statistics. I got write latency, percent memory used, query time, storage performance. I want to have that. The problem is that when I'm problem solving, even within a single tool, if I have to go to multiple different screens to find each of the data points, I can't remember exactly what was happening at 2 o'clock in the morning. That was when my problem was, what was happening. So having a view where you can put any statistic that you want, So I've got write latency next to CPU load, next to memory used, next to disk queue length, and if I want to have my long-running queues or my locking and blocking, I want to have that there also. But having it in a time-synchronized graph so I can say, all right, that lined up. That's another thing that you need, the visibility. So yes, cloud is one of the things that's important to SolarWinds. Cloud monitoring, native cloud monitoring is a big deal, but as you saw from those numbers, the bigger problem, the problem we're going to be living with forever, is hybrid IT. For hybrid IT, we have solutions that look at the on-premises and off-premises simultaneously, that give you, with NetPath, it gives you the view all the way across the path, across the internet. With PerfStack, it gives you the time-synchronized graphs, and with integration to AWS and Azure, you have everything in one, single pane of glass. So you have all that. So these are the things to be thinking about with cloud. I know this is a cloud session, but I want to make sure that you're aware that you probably are hybrid IT, even though you don't know it, but it's okay. We'll get through it together. At SolarWinds, we have a lot of free, completely free like beer, no I mean free products. These are downloadable ebooks that give you both the basics of monitoring, what it all is, and also some sophisticated ways to do automation. We have our IT trends report and things like that. You're welcome to download those. If you stop by the booth, I can give you some links. I also want to point out that we're very interested in education. Again, free. We have SolarWinds Lab. It's a monthly YouTube channel that we talk about different problems and some means to solving them. There's also the Thwack community. Yes, it's called Thwack because we're geeks. And we like to name things, really bizarre things. Thwack.com is 130,000 active members who are not just saying, oh, my SolarWinds is broke, how do I fix it? But also, hey, I'm configuring NetFlow for the first time. How am I doing this? Or what's a really good ASA that I should be using? Or how should I? So they really are sharing ideas and things like that. And that is all. I have a little bit of time for questions, but thank you very much. Any other questions?
Yes,
all right, we have to do a drawing.
זהו.
All right.
מי שלא יכניס את הפתק ועדיין בא לו מכונת קפה, אז זה הזמן.
Last chance. Last chance.
New stage.